The anime begins with a voice telling about the Battle of Mu. King Jifa sent soldiers to overthrow Dixon, but King Dixon sent his soldiers, and the battle started. King Dixon orders his soldiers to kill the enemies, but some of them become rebellious and call him a tyrant. Then Jiangxia comes and attacks him. At the end of the battle, Dixon says he is a god who never dies and will return to take revenge. He then sets himself on fire at the Deer Terrace Pavilion and dies. The history of the Zhou dynasty is told by Mr. Bai in class, who then shows the students a bronze statue of King Dixon that was found in a recent excavation in Mui. Mr. Bai tells them that the statue has been scrutinized due to the ring it is wearing. He further says that the engravings on the ring have never been seen before in history, which means the ring must have been very important to Dixon. One of the students asks Mr. Bai if any group of students discovered that ring, but he says no one is able to give any information about it. Another student guesses that this ring must belong to Daji, which is why it was important to Dixon. Liu Fugai tells a student named Xiaoan that he has gotten a treasure and asks for his help to appraise it, but he refuses, saying that he has some work to do. Fian is with his mother, who is in the hospital. His mother says it is very hard for him to cure her illness, and his father has not sent a letter for 5 years. Xiaoan says his father will return from excavation on MTV. The nurse asks him about the payment of the fee, and he says he will pay it soon. He then goes to Fugai, who shows him King Dixon's ring and asks him to put it on, and he will give him money for his mother's treatment. Xiaoan then puts on the ring, and a monster comes out of his mouth after some time and blows Fugai's arm. The monster then becomes bigger and bigger. The monster starts killing Fugiwi and his group and eating their body parts. A girl in the group asks Xiaoan to remove the ring from his finger, but he fails. The monster then rushes toward the girl, but Xiaoan starts kissing her, thinking that the news would report their deaths as lovers. The monster is about to attack them but is stopped by a man, allowing them to flee. The monster attacks the man, but he dodges him. Xiaoan and the girl reach a restaurant, and Xiaoan drinks a cold drink while thinking about what he would do to pay his mother's treatment fee. The girl then asks his name and takes him to a hotel. Xiaoan thinks this is his first time staying at a hotel, and he is shocked to know the pricing. The girl pays all the dues to the hotel and rents a room. She then takes him into the room and introduces herself. Her name is Jiang Zhuanyan, and she is a reporter for Chenyan Daily Paper. She tells him that she has brought him there to examine the ring. When she examines the ring, she realizes that it has been ingrained into his flesh. Jiang reveals that the earlier incident happened due to this ring. Jiang asks Xiaoan if he swallowed something strange in his childhood, and he replies that she is suspecting him of being a monster. She then asks him to take off his clothes because she thinks something is strange with his body. When Xiaoan refuses, she forcefully takes off his clothes. She then thinks to take some pictures, but her cell phone is missing. Xiaoan has a dream in which the monster chases him, saying that he keeps chasing him until he is wearing the ring. When he wakes up, Jiang is not in the room. After some time, some policemen enter the room and ask him to put his hands up. Xiaoan stands up from the bed, and the only cloth on his body falls, and the cops are shocked to see him naked. A lady cop named Xiao Qian enters, but a cop tries to stop her, thinking that Xiaoan is naked. Jiang is arrested and suspected of murder at the construction site, but he claims the monster killed them. He also asks them to confirm it with Jiang, because he escaped with her. When they reach Jiang's place, she has already been killed. Finding Jiang's dead body, the police believe that Xiaoan is lying and did not escape with Jiang. Another cop named Shen calls Xiao Qian Sherlock Holmes, and she asks him to maintain a professional attitude. She orders them to bring Xiaoan to the detention center. Xiaoan shakes Jiang's dead body, saying that he did not kill anyone, and then the cops take him away. Xiaoan then sees the monster, who asks him to give his body, and in exchange, he will help him escape and kill everyone. Xiaoan refuses, saying that he will not let him kill anyone. The monster disappears, allowing him to call him whenever he wants. Xiaoan yells hysterically that he did not kill anyone and thinks of his mother, who would die after hearing about him. He tries to get rid of the ring because he believes all this is happening because of it. He faints suddenly, and when he opens his eyes, he finds himself and other cops all kidnapped. The kidnappers tell him that their boss ordered them to rescue him. The kidnappers then ask him to talk to their boss, and Xiaoan is shocked to learn that their boss is Fugai. Xiaoan then asks Fugiu to tell the police that he did not kill anybody, but he replies that he cannot tell because he was unconscious at the time. He assures Xiaoan that he has other ways to prove him innocent. One of Fugai's men reaches the forensic lab to retrieve Jiang's phone. When he takes the mobile, the alarm rings, and Jiang opens her eyes. She takes the phone from his hand and gets up. The man tries to go out, but the door is locked, and suddenly Jiang disappears. He then contacts his boss and tells him that Jiang has returned to her life. But his boss does not believe him and says that if he does not bring the phone, he will kill him. Fugai guesses Jiang is not human, and she was investigating him secretly. Jiang then kills the man and flees from there. Fugai orders Xiaoan to chase Jiang and retrieve her phone because she has the video of the monster incident, and that is the only proof of Xiaoan's innocence. He says to him that if he brings Jiang with her phone and his ring, he will give him payment for his mother's treatment. Some cops are chasing Jiang when they are attacked by zombies. One of the cops reports to Fugai's man that Jiang entered a building and that the squad leader has gone to chase her. When they enter the building, Shen stops them, saying that the building is cursed. The kidnappers enter the building, and Xian requests that they unlock Shen and Xiaoqian's handcuffs, and they agree. Xiaoquan asks them to return their guns because the building is dangerous, but they refuse. They find a basement in the building, and when they enter, a man is keeping an eye on them through cameras. The man then presses a button and locks the basement door. Suddenly, they are all thrown into a dark place. The monster girl attacks Xiaoquan, but Shen saves her and allows himself to be stabbed by the girl's tail. Shen says to Xiaoquan that he has no regrets after saving her life. The girl then claps and praises Shen. She asks why a lot of people are so desperate to migrate to another country. She says the people of the elite class want eternal life and youth, and some elites already have immortality surgery. Xiaoquan does not believe it, but the girl says this is a secret. One of the group members tells the girl that she will become a monster in order to become immortal, but she says she is exhausted after becoming immortal. The group member shoots the girl and she falls, but her wound heals automatically and she gets up. The whole group starts shooting at her, but she stands still and heals herself. She then rushes towards them, but Shen, who is lying injured, holds her leg and asks the group to flee. The monster girl attacks Shen while the group flees, but she says it is useless to escape. They throw a bomb at the monster girl and run from there. Some of their group members are in the hallway, and one of them shoots Xiaoquan in the leg and asks Xiaoan to come with them, but he refuses. When they are about to leave, Xiaoan says to them that he has the ring that the boss wants to take, and if they do not take him in Jueyue Kane, he will destroy the ring. They fix a claymore mine near Xiaoan and Xiaokan, and if they try to go outside, the bomb will explode. The man who is watching the group asks Jiang why she left a sign for them, and she says he does not need to worry. The man's name is Wang, and he warns Jiang that he would never take responsibility if anything went wrong. Wang then presses a button and sets a cage around Jiang to imprison her. He then gives her electric shocks and knocks her down. Xiaoan helps Xiaokan stop her bleeding and covers her body with his coat. He assures her that he will help her get out of it. Suddenly, they hear the footsteps of the monster girl. Xiaoquan asks Xiaoan to flee, and she lures the monster girl. Xiaoan refuses to do so and asks her to stay there. As Xiaoan encounters the monster girl and sees the other monster behind her, he says to the monster that if he sends Xiaoquan to the hospital, he will give him his body. The monster kills the girl and tells Zhou Xiaoan that now he belongs to him. The men who fix the claymore mine wonder why it does not explode. Suddenly, they are attacked by some rats and flies. Xiaoquan calls Xiaoan and then faints. The monster then asks Xiaoan to give him his body. The monster starts fusing Xiaoan's body with him, and after some time, he reveals that he only enjoys killing and that he will eat Xiaoquan's heart. Wang takes Jiang's phone to see what is in it. He is shocked to see the video in which a monster is coming out of Xiaoan's mouth. The monster is very excited, saying that he is going to be resurrected. Suddenly, a man from Fuguti's group comes and cuts his head. Xiaoan recognizes the man who saved him and Jiang from the monster. The monster asks the man who he is, and he replies that he is the Bane of Monsters. So the monster attacks the Bane of Monsters, and they both fight. The monster says to him that he will kill him like he killed his uncle, Bijiwan. Hearing the name by Gan, Xiaoan realizes that the monster is actually King Dixon. Xiaoan asks the monster why he came out of his mouth when he put on the ring, and he replies that he is a god and whoever puts on the ring offers him a resurrection. The Bane of Monsters says Dixon was from one of the zombie nations, and Dixon says he will get immortality after eating human hearts. The Bane of Monsters and Dixon then fight each other, and Xiaoan is shocked to see them. Jiang wakes up, and her arms and legs are bound. She then sees old Wang and asks him what he's going to do. She says if he does anything to her, the corpse chief will never let him off. Suddenly, a hand with an eye on it falls near him and starts moving. It presses some keys on the keyboard and starts some functions. When Wang tries to stop the hand, it stalks its nails into his eyes. Wang then hears the announcement that the self-destruction system has been activated and he has 30 minutes to evacuate. Wang then leaves Jiang there and goes outside. The floor flips and Xiaoquan's body suddenly falls into the basement when Dixon and the Bane of Monsters are fighting. Dixon attacks the Bane of Monsters and knocks him down. He again tries to fuse Ajan's body, but suddenly the ring on his finger shines, and Dixon's body starts melting. After that, the Bane of Monsters asks Xiaoan to leave the place immediately. They are heading outside when Jiang suddenly falls down. The Bane of Monsters asks Xiaoan to be careful because Jiang is also from a zombie nation. He then attacks Jiang, but Zhou Xiaoan stops him, saying that she is also escaping. The Bane of Monsters says they are trapped in this place because of Jiang. Jiang tells them that they should leave the place immediately because the self-destruction system has turned on. Xiaoan is concerned about Zhou Xiaoan, but Jiang tells him that she is in a safer place. Xiaoan then points out toward the Claymore mine. A whole place where Zhou Xiaoan and others are trapped is going to be destroyed soon, but they cannot find any way to go outside. The Bane of Monsters decides to let the Claymore mine explode, but Jiang says if the passageway explodes, they will not have any other way to go outside. She then walks toward Claymore mine, saying that she will take care of it. The Bane of Monsters asks Xiaoan to go with him to pee, but Jiang asks Xiaoan to stay. Xiaoan stays while the Bane of Monsters goes, and Jiang takes off her clothes. She then asks Xiaoan not to see her and turns around. Xiaoan then hears an explosion and sees Jiang standing, and there are countless marks on her body. Xiaoan asks Jiang if she is alright, and she says she is not weak like humans. She advises him not to tell anyone about the marks on her body. The Bane of Monsters comes, and they start walking outside. They see the dead bodies of other men, and Jiang tells them that they are sucked in by mosquitoes. Suddenly, they are attacked by mosquitoes, and Jiang shows them a shortcut. The Bane of Monsters deals with mosquitoes, allowing Jiang and Xiaoan to flee. He then escapes and follows the marks left by Jiang until he reaches them. Jiang takes them to a place where they can escape through a hellhole. They swim to reach the stairs, and on the way, Xiaoan is taken away by a giant octopus. But Jiang rescues him. After coming out of the water, they are again attacked by the octopus, and Xiaoan faints. It is about to devour them when Jiang attacks it. Jiang and the Bane of Monsters finally reach the stairs, but Xiaoan is again pulled into the water, and he wakes up from a dream. Xiaoan finds himself in the hotel room, where he has come with Jiang. He is wondering whether it was a dream or something real when he hears his name in the news. According to the news reporter, Xiaoan was suspected of murder, but he attacked the police and escaped after kidnapping 2 police officers. It is revealed that Xiaoan is the daughter of the city mayor. The police offer a reward for capturing Xiaoan. Xiaoan finds a note from Wan Dao on his body stating that if he wants to know the secret of the ring, he will find Dao, who has been waiting for him. Xiaoan then hears the police siren. Xiaoan puts on clothes and reaches his mother in the hospital, who is reading news about him. His mother asks him to go because the police are searching for him everywhere. Xiaoan assures his mother that he did not violate any rule and that he will clear his name. He hears the voices of cops and says to his mother that he will bring back his father. He then jumps out of the window. Wang tells the chief of corps that he has brought beauty for him, but he says he does not need it. Wang then presents Zhou Xiaoan to him, and he is surprised to see her. He then scolds Wang, telling him that Zhou Xiaoan is the daughter of the mayor. Wang says he cannot leave her alive because she knows of research facility's existence. He tells him that Jiang brought a group of people and destroyed the research facility. Wang then gives him Jiang's mobile, which has Monsters video. The chief of corps gives a pill to Wang as a reward and asks him if anyone else knows about it. He then goes to Ioquan, saying that the hearts of beautiful women are the tastiest. Jiang appears from the swimming pool, shocks Wang and asks the chief to give Wang more zombie pills. When Wang threatens Jiang, she beats him. The chief then gives Jiang her mobile and asks Wang if the decomposition pill has good taste. To hear this, Wang turns himself into a monster and attacks Jiang, but she dodges him. Wang then goes toward the chief, but the chief removes the patch from his eye, captures Wang with branches coming out of it, and kills him. When Jiang praises his abilities, he also captures her. She says to him that he can eat her at any time, and he says sharing their secrets with humans is an offense punishable by death. They talk about Xiaoan and his ring. Xiaoan is kidnapped by Fugai, and he beats Fugai, who caused him trouble. Later, Fugai tells him that he is going to cut his finger to retrieve the ring. Xiaoan tells him that Dao has told him to take a trip to the Tiamsu temple to remove the ring. Fugai agrees to give him a chance and leaves him. Xiaoan sets out on a tour of Tiangsu Temple, but he does not understand the map given by Dao. He reaches the woods and feels hungry. He suddenly falls into the mud and hears a girl's screams. He sees a girl being chased by some men who demand a pendant from her, but the girl claims it belongs to her. They are about to shoot her, but Xiaoan saves her. The girl named Tarte recognizes Xiaoan, who is in her class. One of the men tries to grab the pendant from Tarte, and she falls from the cliff, but Xiaoan saves her. Xiaoan and Tarte are falling from the cliff when suddenly Xiaoan's hand turns into Dixing's monster's hand, and they reach the cliff. They both climb the cliff using the monster's hand. Tarte says thanks to Xiaoan, and he tells her that he knows magic. Tarte asks him to take her as his disciple. They see many coffins hanging from the cliff, and Xiaoan tells her that this is the burial method in the Axi dynasty. He then remembers that his father left him, saying that he was going to Wai Mountains. He says he hates archaeology and his father, who abandoned him and his mother. Xiaoan hears some voices coming from a coffin, and a ghost comes out of it. He and Tarte get frightened to see the ghost, who knows Zhou Xiaoan's name and says he has been waiting for him. The ghost asks him to come with him and tells him that Dao is his disciple. He tells them that he is a deity named Muzu. Mu takes them to the Tianxu temple. Xiaoan opens his eyes and realizes that Tarte and Mu are missing. He sees a familiar scene in which some people are eating an old man. He goes near them, but they do not react. Suddenly, he starts feeling dizzy, and when he wakes up, Tarte is near him. He realizes he had a dream, but he is surprised to see that he is in the same cave that he saw in his dream. Ma tells them that Pengzu's spirit often weeps and yearns for the Huai Mountains. He asks them not to be afraid if they see the spirit of an old man. Xiaoan guesses that it was Pengzu who was eaten by his children and grandchildren, and they became a zombie nation. Dao comes there, and Xiaoan tells him that Mu is going to marry Tarte. Dao laughs, saying that deities cannot marry. Tarte then kisses Mu, and he decides to give him a reception. They take a bath in a hot spring, and Dao tells him that the water of the temple hot spring extends his lifespan by 5 years. They talk about the qualities of the temple. Some deities take Tarte's clothes and return them after some time. Dao faints due to overdrinking, and Xiaoan sees that Mu has also stolen some of Tarte's undergarments. Xiaoan thinks deities are good or evil, and he and Dao have risked everything to keep themselves alive. He realizes that Dao only lured him to the Tianxu temple. Xiaoan feels hungry and tries to find something to eat. He sees light coming from outside, and when he goes outside, he finds a Tianxu temple. He sees some deities fighting some men. One of the deities reveals that he was a human who came there to cultivate himself to become a deity, but the other deity stops him from saying this. He then mentions the excavation group of people who mistakenly entered the temple 5 years ago and met Mu. Both deities are interrupted by the Lord of Pure Yang. Xiaoan is captured by some people, who are shocked to see the ring on his finger. One of them says the ring was missing from the temple. They ask him to remove it when deities come and ask them not to harm Xiaoan, because he is a guest of the overseer of Huai. Xiaoan is invited for a meal by the true lord and starts eating. Before the lord's arrival, one of the lord's attendants attacks him as a punishment, but he blocks his attack and surprises everyone. Xiaoan's hand turns into a monster hand, and he attacks the attendant of the lord and is about to kill him, but the true lord stops them. The lord is impressed by Xiaoan and asks him how he wore the ring. He then tells Xiaoan that the person who tried to wear the ring died on the spot, and he is the first person to get the divine power of that ring. Xiaoan requests the lord remove the ring and change him back to an ordinary person, but the lord says it is beyond his powers. The lord then asks him to stay there because he's going to make an important announcement tomorrow. The attendants of the lord guess that he's going to make Xiaoan his successor. Fiang and the chief of corps reach the Huai Mountains and reach the cave. One deity gives the lord a pill, and the lord feels something strange after entering the room. Dao and Xiaoan hear some gunshots outside, and Dao goes to see what happened. A deity reveals that the true lord has been murdered. They all gather in the house of the lord and see that someone is hiding behind the door. Xiaoan is shocked to see Tarte holding a gun and shooting. Mu informs the zombie nation about the murder of the lord. He is then captured by the chief of corps, who asks him about the divinity. Mu refuses to tell him, claiming that he does not know about it. The chief then devours him with his eye. Dao asks Tarte, why did she kill the lord? And she says she avenged her father, Jiao Oyozi. Xiaoan tells Tarte that her father was a disciple at Tianxu Temple, but Dao says her father was banished from the temple 5 years ago. An excavation team was killed at Tianxu Temple, and her father knew about the murder, which is why he was killed. She says that her father told her and her mother about the murder in his last letter. Xiaoan then realizes what happened to his father 5 years ago. When the excavation team was captured, they were brought before the true lord. Xiaoan's father asked the lord about a deity who had not been cultivated yet and was in human form. One of the group members fainted and claimed that something was wrong with the place. They are afraid that they would be in trouble if the lord knew that they had brought an outsider into divinity. When the lord came to know about their act, he captured them. The deities then regained their human forms. Back in the present, one deity recognizes Xiaoan, who says he will avenge his father, but he is attacked by them. They set the temple on fire, but Xiaoan attacked them with his monster arm. When they counterattack, Xiaoan's whole body turns into a monster's body. They try to chain him with the help of a deity-bounding spell, but Xiaoan manages to break the chain and create a catastrophe. Then they cast another fire spell to kill Xiaoan, but he again survived. Due to using a lot of power, he faints and is knocked down. They again rush to kill him, but Dao stops them. They attack Dao, but he dodges their attack while Muo comes and rescues Dao. He then begs to spare Dao's life, but they say Dao favored an outsider and disrespected his elders, so he cannot be forgiven. They demand that Dao bend before them to apologize, but Dao refuses to do so. They attack Dao, but Ma comes forward and saves him, allowing himself to die in Dao's place. Zhang and the chief of corpses reach the temple. The leader asks his men to sever Xiaoan's hand to remove the ring, and when he attacks his hand, a stream of light comes out of the ring. stopping the man from attacking. The Lord of Pure Yang has become the new head of the Tiangsu Temple and makes a speech in favor of creating zombie pills. He says it is logical to sacrifice a few to save a lot of people because the pills are made from human bodies. 80 informs the leader that they are attacked by the zombie nation, and the leader takes out his sword and orders others to follow him. The chief and Fiang find a bronze door, and they guess it is the legendary divinity. Jiang thinks she can feel a strong energy there because Zhou Xiaoan disappeared there. The chief is excited because the secret is going to be uncovered. Jiang feels some familiar energy and guesses that she is near Zhou Xiaoan. Xiaoan floats while thinking that he is going to die because he is losing control of his life. He thinks he tried his best, but he could not change his fate. He remembers his mother and Zhao Quan, and he hopes they are safe. He recalls Jiang and wishes to meet her again. He says he has forgiven his father and wishes that his father would forgive him. He then hears the monster's voice, which asks him why he did not avenge his father. He says to him that his friends will die in that place if he does not help them, and he can save them with his power. The monster then urges him to help his friends and avenge his father